Hello and welcome to another Trinity Teachings. This is lesson 2.5. Well, this one is about Book of Shadows / Grimoire. First off, same basic thing. I'm gonna refer to it mainly as the Book of Shadows. Okay, first off, Book of Shadows. Book of Shadows is traditionally a black covered book, which would keep, her spells, recipes, what she's done. It's kind of like her Wiccan diary. Everything she does Wiccan-wise, ceremony records, spell records, potion ingredients, spells, and all that. First off, since times have changed, you can have a grimoire or a book of shadows look really what you want. I am one to talk, because my main book of shadows is kind of traditional looking in the manner of speaking. But I also have more than one. You don't have to have just one. I mean, let's see, I've got, if I go down the list, I've got my big book of shadows. This thing literally weighs 10 pounds. It actually was originally meant to be a scrapbook. This is like a suede, and it's got a handle. I actually inherited this, you could say. Old roommate of mine was an old practicing Wiccan. Well, he started an online book, digital book of shadows, and gave me this. There really wasn't much in it. I mean, spell-wise. I mean, there was some, like the Witch's Key, Charge of the God, Charge of the Goddess, Beliefs and Customs, and some other things. And I've added to it over the years. There's some spells in it. I used it a lot for my coven working. But it's heavy. But for the most part, I keep spells in it. Oof. But I start my spells out because, let's face it, I don't want to carry that thing everywhere with me, especially when I want to start a spell. So I use this. Originally, it started as I was writing down recipes for potions and that, but I just slowly started using it to write different spells in, and once I'm happy with them in here, they go in the big book. Once that's full, I have this as a backup to start filling in. Let's see, then I have, I think, another blank one in the closet. And then, if I remember right, let's see. If I remember correctly, I have two more blank ones actually. And then I have one I keep on an SD card. One I keep on the main hard drive of my computer. One I keep on a two USBs. I think I have copies on. And yeah, and that's, and I have an online one, a website actually dedicated to being a Book of Shadows. I originally created it because, the big Book of Shadows I use for coven work. Well, when I had my coven, they didn't have separate books of shadows. So I created it basically so they could go to it whenever they needed to see the spells, especially because I moved to town. And this I actually call my Wiccan reference book, really. Because in all my other books, I just write spells in it. Well, this is more of a reference guide. In your Wiccan learning, you'll learn what is called a mirror book. When you're being taught, you basically keep your notes and stuff in it. In a way, that's what this, you could say, is. It's more of my mirror book, in a manner of speaking. I keep a lot of references in here. Let's see, I've got symbols in here. I got the Sabbats and the days in here. Let's see, the elements with their corresponding symbols and directions. The days of the week with their corresponding planets. Elements, stones, and signs. Let's see, the Espats, full moon, names of full moons. Let's see, a little bit of numerology, basically just the alphabet and its numbers. Let's see, colors and no meanings. Kendo colors and no meanings. See, planets and their meanings, their symbols. Let's see, different symbols. The signs and their symbols, corresponding elements. The days, which they are, the Celtic Cree calendar, the Chinese zodiac is in here. Some information on the pentacle, invoking a little chakra information. Wait, no, I actually remember those actually got that. See, some elements information. some interesting information on tarot. Basically, I found these online with some symbols for shorthanding tarot if people who record their readings and things that they do. I've always been trying to find a shorter way to do this. I found a shorthand way to do it. Symbols for each of the major arcana and ways to shorthand all the minor. I'll actually talk about that later in the book. Let's see, more information. Indian totems, their information. Basically, the Indian zodiac in America, I should say. See stuff on runes and a lot of runes information. And that's basically where it ends right now. I'm still adding to it. I basically created this because I have a lot of Wiccan books. And, I mean, I don't want to write all this stuff in my Book of Shadows, especially this big one. I don't want to pull it out each time. And I want to save space in my one for spells. So I mainly created this for a reference guide. I mean, I have a bunch of books, and every once in a while I need some information. Problem is, sometimes it's specific information that only a certain book had, and I can't remember which book it had, or I can't remember where in the book it was. This way I write it all down, and if I want it, all I gotta do is look in here for it. It's a lot easier than going through like 10, 20 books trying to find certain information. But you don't have to have, eventually you can have one Book of Shadows, you write all the stuff in it, it's really up to you how you do it. You can look really any way you want. The way, actually, see this, he was inspired, the one who originally started this, was inspired by Charmed. First of all, because I know it, because he told me, and even if I didn't know it, I started watching the show, and, that right there tells me he was inspired by Charmed. But, I like it. It fits into my interests, but I have the little one and it's easier on my back. Carry this in my backpack gives me major back problems. I was sitting here all day like this to give me major back problems. But anyway, but if you're trying to keep it a secret, you might want to hide it or keep it looking simple, plain, and no one will look into it. A good way to keep it actually secret is, one, if you know another language, and you can write it in the language, like Latin is a common one. I'll also talk about this later in spell writing. A good thing to have around is, especially because if you're reading spells from books, they might be in Latin. This would be a helpful hint. Latin to English, also English to Latin dictionary, very useful. Latin's used a lot when it comes in Wicca and certain old spells and stuff. But Latin's a good language. Also, if you want to do it an easier way, I use Anglo-Saxon runes. A very interesting set of runes that I found in a book. I learned to write them actually pretty simple. They're pretty simple to use, and as long as if you write them enough, you would actually just know them just by sight. And even if you don't know them all by sight, if you know a few of the runes by just knowing what letter they are, you'll easily be able to identify most words. So it's actually a pretty good system and you can read it. To everyone else, it looks like maybe gibberish. So it's actually a good way. Symbols, however, you can't really hide, and words and lettering and stuff you write, that you can hide. It takes a bit longer to write, but if you have bad handwriting like I do, and most of these runes are straight lines, they're actually a lot easier to write in and a lot easier to read later on for you. Because my handwriting's bad. If you look in here, a lot of this art, it looks alright. But when I'm in a hurry, like I was a little bit later when it came to writing down some of this rune information, it can come out looking kind of bad. It's still readable to a point, but however, being a Scorpio, I have what I'm looking for, a complex to always want things to look their best. And, let's just say, I'm compelled to rip these pages out and start over, but one, I don't want to have to go through all that again, and two, I don't want to ruin, because in these kind of books, if you start taking out pages, it will start loosening and becoming a problem. But anyway, back to what I was speaking of, A Book of Shadows. Well, when you're doing coven work, a lot of times there'll be one for the coven and everyone will keep their own. It's really up to you on how you want to do it. I suggest you have your own. The big one was my own. Reason our coven didn't have their own because didn't think I'd be moving away. Plus, most of the spells that we all came up with, we came up together and most of us remembered them. But plus, I was technically, I guess you could say, the high priest, so I read most of the spells when it came to when we worked. But anyway, that's all I got really on Books of Shadows. That's Grimoire's not right now. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and keep learning. And until next time, keep reading questions and things like that. Questions, comments, all that. Go in the comment bar. Please comment and all that. Thank you for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.